Right, in this video I will be going over the Darknut fights that Link and the player in Randomizer can encounter in Darknut Castle, Palace, Fortress and Castle Wilds. Darknuts are by far the most difficult enemies for Link to face head on, quite literally, as they are invulnerable to damage from the sword from the front, but they can be damaged from the sides and from the back. So I'm going to show you how to deal with Darknuts in general. I will be going over each strat that you can use, and then I'll just go over how you can use them to your advantage and which ones I recommend for beginners and for more advanced players. As you begin fighting the Darknuts, the more you fight them, the easier they will get for you. It's just a matter of practice, in my opinion. So, this is the Black Darknut in Darknut Castle. If you don't have access to Vati yet, this is the first black one that you fight. Darknuts have a sort of hierarchy among them, with the Black Darknut being at the top, as they have the most HP, they deal the most damage, and they have the quickest reflexes. So, the first way to just kill a Darknut is just with the sword and the shield. Darknuts have multiple patterns of attack. They can either stab, slash, they can dash, they can just put the shield up, and they can charge and attack with a corkscrew attack that deals massive damage. So in essence, try to dodge them and attack them shortly after they attacked. So as you can see, if I just mash with the sword, nothing's gonna get through. But if a Darknut attacks, there's a very short window of opportunity for Link to actually retaliate and just attack them with the sword swipe himself. This won't work with the corkscrew, as you can see, the corkscrew does go through Link, and that's not really helpful. Another way to deal with Darknuts is, next to just dodging them or just blocking them, is just to dodge them. Especially when they have corkscrew attacks, you can use this wind up to your advantage. Additionally, Darknuts don't like it if Link approaches them diagonally, like this, for example. And you're able to get the occasional cheap shot in, but I wouldn't really bank on that. Next, you can just roll through Darknuts. It's a bit more difficult from the top, but with some practice you can just roll through them, especially if they dash. And then you can just attack them from behind. The next way to deal with a Darknut is using a bomb. It doesn't matter if it's a remote bomb or a regular bomb, it will just work. When dealing with bombs, it's good to know that the throw deals more damage than the toss, or the throw deals more damage than the explosion, that way. So if you have a remote bomb, it's actually doable to just throw the remote bomb over and over again. As you can see, as I just hit the Darknut with the bomb, he did blink up red for a bit. That is the indicator that he was damaged by the throw. Another thing that you can do is, next to just throwing it, you can also explode the bomb at the Darknut. If I were to just hit him, there you go. If you explode a bomb with a Darknut in it, or on it, the Darknut will get stunned for a short while. However, Black Darknuts, they're only stunned for like a split second, so it's not really worth using the stun for the Black Darknuts. It's possible, but Link will only get in one, maximum of 2 swipes before they regain their composure. The next way for Link to deal with Darknuts is using the the Rock's Cape. Rock's Cape has the ability for Link to just hop. So either you press and hold the cape button for a glide, or you just tap it for a hold. You tap it for a hop. If Link hops either straight over one or diagonally over one, you can easily get in a few hits here and there. Especially if the Darknut dashes. However, this requires you to have a bit of a sense for the Darknut's hitbox, as you don't want to hop too late or too early. Hopping too late usually gets you damaged, and hopping too early will have them put up the shield. Oops. Another way for Link to just deal with Darknuts in general is just running through them and waiting for them to dash. Once Darknut dashes, it's very vulnerable to the wall attack. If you don't have the wall attack, that's not really a big issue. Just follow it up with a few sword swipes. One thing to keep in mind though, is that if Link damages a Darknut, Link will get thrown back a bit. So you need to actually attack at the rhythm. It's a bit more difficult for Link to roll through Darknut from the top, simply due to the hitbox of their shield. But it should be fairly easy to do. Or just, it takes practice, but once you have the rhythm down, it's like breathing for you. Next up is the so-called, well, first of all, I'm going to show you the Great Spin strat. When Link attacks the the Darknut will become temporarily immobile as it puts its shield up. If Link has the Great Spin and is Great Spinning, Link has enough speed and momentum to use this this moment of immobility from the Darknut to waltz around him and hit him from the sides. Like this. Granted, that was a bit too easy, I guess, so I just have the Darknut come a bit to me. It's a bit more difficult in this room due to the pillars, but it shouldn't be too difficult to hit the Darknut with this strat. The next strat is unique to this room. Vati, in his moment of brilliance, has gifted us with the gift of architecture, as he put down 2 pillars in this room. We can use the left pillar to align Link in order to stun lock the Darknut, basically. So what you do after entering this room is you press up and left to go into this corner here for the pillar. Then you just roll up once you are near the carpet and just do as I do, basically. Keep in mind that you also need to have a rhythm going for this slashing, just to make sure that Link doesn't recoil himself out of hitting range. So when fighting this Darknut, usually you can either hold right or right up while slashing in a bit of a rhythm. That way you can keep your you can keep Link in hitting distance while just stun locking the Darknut, basically. Lastly, there is one last way to deal with Darknut, and that is by using the boots. If Link bonks against the wall, that is enough distance to get either behind or next to the Darknut. I wouldn't really recommend it, due to the fact that it has quite the bit of not recoil. It takes a while for Link to actually bonk. That's what I mean. The bonk isn't instantaneous. Also, you can just dash through Darknuts as well. It's a bit difficult to get the timing right to actually abuse that, but in a pinch it should be possible, especially if Link is backed into a corner. Next up are the big three Darknuts. The big three at the end of the gauntlet before Vati. If you don't know, they are on a timer, so if you take too long, you get a game over. No pressure, but it is a possibility. I believe they are on either a 2 or 3 minute timer, but I'm more tending towards 3 minutes. I haven't actually took the time for that. However, it should be possible for you to kill the Darknuts within 3 minutes. Even when you're just using the Great Spin, for example. So, Darknuts. If they're bunched up, first of all, it's very difficult for the shield strat. Just because there are multiple of them. And usually when one Darknut is vulnerable, the next one is already attacking. Like this. You can easily get ping-ponged from a shield into a corkscrew attack. So you need to be careful and mindful of that. One good thing to notice is that this room also has a quick kill on the black Darknut. It's like architecture is their worst enemy. So as you may see, the carpet here has a bit of a pattern. And if I were to... So, basically, once the Darknut spawn, you equip the cape. You just walk up, and once you are in the middle ring on the carpet pattern, you just hop over the black Darknut. Like this. If you're lucky, like I am, the Darknut will dash, meaning that Link can follow this up with a wonderful wall attack. This strat is always worth to go for. Even if you're a bit too early, usually it doesn't really matter. Maybe Link maybe he gets hit a bit, but it shouldn't be the end of the world. And if you hop too late, okay, that's a bit of an issue. There we go. He still rolls. Okay. So the dashing is dependent on the RNG, and usually using your sword changes the RNG. However, using the Great Spin here is definitely doable, and it helps out a lot. If you are not comfortable with Great Spin, or you don't have it yet, another way to deal with Darknuts is with the good old bombs. That's a strat that I used when I was a child. That was the strat I used when I was a beginner, and it got me places. Generally, when fighting with multiple Darknuts and bombs, you can either pop the bomb behind you and have the Darknuts run over it, like this, exploding it and just using the stunning of the bomb. However, you can also just chuck the bomb at the Darknut and keep chipping away at them, although this is a bit of a slow strat. If you're using regular bombs, as in no remote bombs, that's still possible, although it's a bit difficult to just time the bomb, as the remotes can be exploded remotely. If you're not comfortable with chucking them like this, because there's no damage for the explosion to go off, or nothing for the explosion to hit, more or less, is you can place down a bomb and just keep swiping at them until the bomb explodes, so that they will get stunned with the explosion. And it's a bit of a slow strat, but it's definitely doable. And if you're not comfortable with dealing with Darknuts, this is the way to go. Bomb strats are the most safe strat, in my opinion, simply due to the fact that Link can keep his distance, although they are very slow. So I would recommend using the Great Spin for Darknuts. If you're out of bombs like I am, you can just use the Great Spin to just circle around them. Generally, when hitting a Darknut, the Darknut will always put up a shield if they're not attacking this. Like this. They will put up the shield, and while they have the shield up, Link can use the momentum from his Great Spin and just circle around them. like this. It's even better if they get stuck in each other. If you have long spin, this makes it even easier, just because you can keep cycling around the Darknuts. Another way to deal with Darknuts is with the bonk tactic, although it's pretty difficult against multiple Darknuts. But usually it's manageable, but it should be used with caution, I suppose. Dashing through the Darknuts here is actually fine. You just have them move out of the way. So if you are backed into a corner, like this, just dash through them and you'll escape. If you need to either wait for, I don't know, for a hard drop or something like that, you can also just circle around, either counterclockwise or clockwise. They follow, and yeah, it's after a while you get a hold of the Darknut patterns, that is. So it shouldn't be too difficult for Link to defeat them. Especially if they are in the wind-up animation with the corkscrew. You can easily try to wiggle yourself out of the hitbox and attack them from the side. So this is how a Darknut fight usually looks. Maybe if I would have hit the wall attack, that would have been better. Okay, so not hitting the wall attack is not a big issue, as you can just do it without. Although I guess it's the rule of cool, and the wall attack looks way cooler than just swiping your sword at him. Additionally, there's the whole cape issue again. Caping over multiple Darknuts is a bit more difficult than over just one. But if you get the hitbox, sorry, if you have a feeling of the hitbox, that's something that you can easily do. I would just recommend that you hop diagonally instead of straight over Darknut, just so you have the chance of hitting them either on the side or on the back. So you can just do whatever you're more comfortable with. Darknuts aren't as scary as they might look. See, 2 in 1 hit. If you are still a bit uncertain about Darknuts, there is Din's charm in town. In town, there's a girl called Din. You might know her from the Oracle of Ages game. Sorry, Oracle of Seasons. Where you can unlock Din. In general, to unlock Din, you will need to travel to Hyrule Town and visit Gorman, the salesman. You can just talk to him once. He mentions that he's got a house to sell, but no one to buy it. So what Link can do is just talk to the lovely Din here on the left side, the girl in red. Show her the house, and the next time you visit her, she will have already moved in. As you can see with the red clothing here. She will give Link a charm, like this, and this charm will improve Link's attacking damage. So Link deals double damage when attacking. This is really useful when fighting Darknuts, as you can just pop the charm and just keep doing what you've been doing. You'll just kill them faster. But yeah, that's about it with Darknuts. They're not as scary as you might think. And once you get to know them better, they are quite easy to... Sorry. They are not as difficult to kill, I suppose. Generally, I would recommend that you use either the hopping, if you're comfortable with it, or the spin the great spin attack, to just get rid of them. Also, just dodge them when they're dashing, and you should be generally fine. They have a bit of a wind up to each animation that they do, Let's see. For example, yeah, they have to take aim with a sword and have a small wind-up animation with each attack. So if they do anything else apart from just standing there, there's an attack coming, and you should be able to just either roll through them, hop over them, or dash through them, and then just fight Vati.